Chat. I am your host, Nizzy, and in this video, you guys, we got our next installment of the NFL Top 10 list, where we break down the top 10 players at each position group heading into the 2021 NFL season, you guys. So far on this channel, I've already done all the offense. You can go ahead and find those videos on my channel there. And today we're going to be breaking down the cornerback room, figuring out the top 10 cornerbacks heading into the 2021 season. Right real quick before we get into the video, you guys, if you can go ahead and like this video if you're looking for more sporting content like this. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you're looking for more sporting content like this in the future. Been getting a lot of support on this channel lately, you guys, and I really appreciate it. We're going to keep trying to pump out as much content as possible here. And without further ado, you guys, let's go ahead and start breaking down the top 10 cornerbacks heading into the 2021 NFL season. And in that number one slot, there's no surprise here, you guys. Wearing it right there, repping the G-Bay baby, Jaire Alexander for the Green Bay Packers. We got him as our top cornerback in the league heading into the 2021 season. Dude had a phenomenal season last year. Lived on Jaw Island all year long. Just ended up playing man coverage by himself on an island most of the time last year. Didn't get a lot of things thrown his way. He ended up being one of the main guys for the Packers on that defense. Was an absolute stud for us all season long. Ended up finishing the season with 13 pass defenses, which is outstanding. He also had one forced fumble, one sack, which was actually a safety sack that he had against the Minnesota Vikings there early on in the season. Also had 2 tackles for a loss, 1 interception, and 51 tackles total. And then a crazy performance in the NFC Championship game. Obviously, the Green Bay Packers fall a little bit short. But Jaire came up huge in that second half, trying to keep us in the game with 2 interceptions there. The dude's just a bona fide stud. Definitely going to be getting a huge payday after this season. Hopefully the Packers pay him. They better fucking pay him because we're going to need him for years to come, that's for sure. You don't let lockdown corners go like that, that's for sure. So I would expect him to get a payday from the Packers after this year. He'll be eligible for that contract extension. But I definitely think this guy's the top corner in the league right now, you guys. Just an absolute stud. Can do all the little things right. He's really good at tackling as well. Knows how to read kind of what the offense wants to do and just be in the right position at the right time out on the field. So got him at my number 1 slot, you guys. And then the number 2 slot, another guy, no surprise here. We're going with Jalen Ramsey from the LA Rams. Played in 15 games last year. Accumulated 1 interception, 9 pass defenses, 44 tackles, and 2 tackles for a loss. So a little bit lower numbers than what we're used to seeing from Ramsey. But obviously, he hadn't played with the Rams for a lot. He's getting into his 2nd season with them now. Going to be able to have a little more fluid operations going on there, just understanding how they like to run their stuff over there in LA. I expect him to have another solid season, being one of the top cornerbacks in this league. So I got him on my number 2 slot, you guys. Number 3, we got Xavier Howard from the Miami Dolphins. Played in all 16 games last season. Ended up finishing with 51 tackles, 1 forced fumble, 10 interceptions, which is just gnarly. Pretty sure he led the league in interceptions last year, and then he also had 20 passes defended. So this guy's just an absolute beast. Definitely one of the top corners in the game. Seems like Miami's keeping him now. I know there was a little bit of animosity between the two sides. He wasn't happy. He wanted a big contract or whatever. Apparently both sides have worked it out. He will be staying with Miami and playing this season. So that's good news for the Dolphins. They're going to definitely want to have a guy like that on the back end. He's just an outstanding talent. Like you said, 10 interceptions and 20 passes defended is just gnarly for a corner. So yeah, definitely one of the top corners in the game, you guys, and I got him falling at that number 3 slot. Number 4, we're going to head over to the Buffalo Bills and select Tre'Davious White. Played in 14 games in the regular season last year, ended up finishing with 57 tackles, 2 tackles for a loss, 1.5 sacks, 2 fumble recoveries, as well as 1 forced fumble. And finished with a nice 11 passes defended as well as 3 interceptions. Obviously, one of the staples of the Buffalo Bills defense is Tre'Davious White. He's been just a rock solid, steady defender his entire career with Buffalo, obviously, in that Sean McDermott defense there. Buffalo's just got a good all-around team. They got a good, solid defense. And Tre'Davious White is definitely one of the catalysts of that defense that makes things tick for them. And he's just an outstanding corner. Only probably going to continue to get better as well as years go on here. So I got him at that number 4 slot, you guys. In the number 5 slot, we're heading over to Baltimore. We're selecting Marlon Humphrey. This guy's just been an absolute beast since he come into the league. Just can put the pedal to the metal. He's just probably one of the hardest hitting corners in the league today, I would say. He's just phenomenal at creating turnovers and punching out the ball. probably one of the best guys in the league, if not the best guy in the league at punching the ball out. He's really good at that. That's probably one of his best attributes, I would say, as a cornerback. In 15 games last year, he finished with 82 tackles, which is quite high for a corner. 4 tackles for a loss, 1 safety, 2.5 sacks, 8 forced fumbles. That's what I'm talking about by this guy can really punch that ball out when he's hitting. 8 forced fumbles last year, as well as 11 passes defended and 1 pick. So just outstanding stats from Marlon Humphrey. He's still a young dude as well. I expect him to continue to keep getting better. Obviously, they got a really nice secondary there in Baltimore, and he's one of the key catalysts to that secondary. So got him at the number 5 slot, you guys. Number 6, we're heading over to the Saints. We're selecting Marshawn Lattimore. Had a bit of a down year last year. Not a super down year, but comparatively to what we're used to seeing from this guy. Only played in 14 games as well, but was able to finish with 62 tackles. Still had 11 passes defended, which is pretty nice. Only 2 interceptions, so it's a little bit lower from what we're used to seeing. But he's still an impact player. I'd expect him to have a big bounce back year this year and be one of them top cornerbacks in the league for sure. He's always been one of the top corners pretty much since he's come into the league here. Just one of those feisty guys on the defensive side of the ball for the Saints. They're going to need to have their defense really playing well this year, especially with the loss of Drew Brees on the offensive side. They're going to need that defense to step it up, be able to take a bit of the weight and the workload just to be able to keep their team in games. And I think Marshawn Lattimore is going to be a key attribute for that defense, for them to keep things running at a good pace here this season. So I got him at that number 6 slot, you guys. Number 7, we're going to the Patriots and selecting Stephon Gilmore. Only reason he's so far down on the list is because he had a bit of a rough season last year, only was able to play in 11 games. Still finished with 37 tackles, 1 forced fumble, 3 pass defenses, and an interception. I'm expecting him to have a big bounce back year this year. Obviously, he's getting up there. I think he's 30 years old now. But that doesn't mean he still can't play. Obviously, New England's going to be coming in hungry this year as well. You can see all the moves they made in the offseason trying to make their team better. Put some nice pieces around Cam Newton, drafting a new quarterback, and Mac Jones. So you like to see what they've done here. And obviously, they got phenomenal coaching, as always. So I expect Stephon Gilmore to have a huge bounce back season this year. I got him in that number 7 slot, you guys. In the number 8 slot, we're going back to the Baltimore Ravens and getting Marlon Humphrey's running mate and Marcus Peters. This guy's still outstanding. He's been in the league for a while now, but he's still just one of the top cornerbacks in the league. Played 14 games last year, accumulating 52 total tackles. Had 1 sack as well. 4 forced fumbles. So you look at those forced fumbles between him and Marlon Humphrey, man. Marlon Humphrey had 8 and he had 4. That's 12 forced fumbles just between your 2 starting corners, which is just insane. These guys are so good at punching out the ball. Marcus Peters also had a fumble recovery last year, 9 pass defenses and 4 interceptions. I would expect him to continue right on pace with that. Like I said, the Baltimore Ravens got one of the best secondaries, if not the best secondary in the league. So no surprise Marcus Peters makes this list in the number 8 slot, you guys. Number 9 slot, we're going over the Denver Broncos and selecting a new cornerback for them in Kyle Fuller. Obviously, he played with Chicago Bears his entire career until this last offseason where he ended up going to the Broncos. But in 16 games last year with the Bears, he ended up finishing with 65 total tackles, 1 forced fumble, 8 pass defenses, and 1 interception. So not crazy numbers, but just good, solid overall numbers. Obviously, going into Vic Fangio's defensive scheme there with the Denver Broncos, I think he's going to have a better season than he has with the Bears. Just because he is a defensive-minded head coach. And they always have had a pretty good defense, the Denver Broncos have. And obviously drafting Patrick Surtain as well, that gives you a nice combo between Kyle Fuller and Patrick Surtain at the cornerback position. So they should have a real nice secondary this year. Obviously, they got Simmons on the back end, too, at safety there, one of the best safeties in the league. So I like what I see from that defense, and I think Kyle Fuller is going to be a nice addition to the Denver Broncos. He's coming in on that 9 slot, you guys. And then the last one, the top 10 list here, you guys, in that 10 slot, we're going over to the Cleveland Browns and taking Denzel Ward. Unfortunately, didn't play in all the games last year, only played in 12 games, was dealing with a little bit of injuries here and there, but had a really nice season for only 12 games, finishes with 46 tackles, 1 forced fumble. Crazy stat here, 18 passes defended, which is gnarly for only starting 12 games. I think the only guy on this list who was higher was Xavier Howard with 20 passes defended, and he ended up playing all 16. So you could tell Denzel Ward could have been in that 20 to 25 passes defended range if he had played all 16. Also had 2 interceptions as well on the season, so As long as this guy can stay healthy, man, I could see him jumping up the list to being one of the top corners right in there with Jaire Alexander and Jalen Ramsey next year. If he goes out and has a phenomenal season with the Cleveland Browns, which I expect him to, you guys. So that's it, you guys. That's the top 10 list. We'll just go ahead and rerun it real quick just so we can recap all the selections here. Obviously, in that first slot, we went with Jaire Alexander. Number 2, we selected Jalen Ramsey. Number 3 went with Xavier Howard. Number 4, we took Tre'Davious White. Number 5, we went with Marlon Humphrey. Number 6, we went Marshawn Lattimore from the Saints. Number 7, we took Stephon Gilmore. And then 8, we went Marcus Peters. Number 9, we decided to select Kyle Fuller from the Broncos. And then number 10, we went with Denzel Ward, you guys. So let me know what you guys think in the comments section down below. Would love to get your guys' opinion on who you got in your top 10 cornerbacks heading into the 2021 NFL season. Once again, you guys, always appreciate you taking the time to watch this video and all the videos on my channel. Appreciate all the support I've been getting lately. Please go ahead and like this video if you so choose. Subscribe to the channel if you so choose. And this is Nizzy with Nizzy Sports Chat.